when we look at protecting companies, there are other things besides just the tools that we use. And one of those that people feel very confident in and maybe have some misplaced confidence is cybersecurity insurance. John, can you maybe touch on what some of the benefits and unintended consequences are for cybersecurity insurance?
Yeah, I'm going to use a phrase that my friend Parker Pearson gave me, which is that cyber insurance is not an airbag. And what it is, of course, is designed to help you recover losses from cyber attacks. It's basic. I'm not an actuary or an insurance agent, but we deal with lots of them, as you can imagine. And so the idea, there's a couple things that you want to be doing with your cyber insurance, and this is, maybe more for the leaders in the company, is you need to be reviewing those policies. And if you don't understand what those policies say, you want to get your broker to tell you what those policies say. And if you don't have a broker, you want a broker and an advisor, because not all cyber insurance policies are going to pay. When we talked about using outside operators like a GuardSight or an ALI to help you, this is another additional benefit. It's not only just regulatory and compliance benefit that you get from companies like us riding along, but the insurance companies, you can show them that you were conducting a reasonable standard of cybersecurity, like you were not negligent. You were doing the things that you were doing. It turns out that bad guys are good, and that they're smart, and they've got a motive, and that's what they do all day. But if you don't have any of that, and you don't have the ability to show a reasonable standard of cybersecurity, the fact is the insurance companies are going to give you a hard time about it. They're not going to pay claims. Turns out insurance companies sometimes don't like paying claims. And so you have to be in a position where you can get them to pay your claim. When you do have a breach, when you do have an incident response, you also need to know immediately who to call on your insurance site, which in most cases is going to be your broker. And you want to engage your broker ahead of time to let them know and understand what that protocol looks like so that you're not fumble-butting around when it actually happens. Also, legal is important in that aspect. What you say, what you do, how you move is really important when you actually try to do claims on insurance. Now, insurance companies are good. They're there for a reason, in terms of helping you recover on the assets. There are unintended consequences about breaches and when you actually, or insurance claims, and when you actually do that, including the fact that you're going to have loss runs and that you're going to have other things that happen, related to insurance claims that you know about in the natural world. So many of the folks on the phone, probably have expertise in this area, so you know that I'm talking about. For the ones that don't, you should be, the things you got to do after this call are, multi-factor authentication, reduce your attack surface, hire a company that can help you and understand what you can do if you do have damage to your business, disruption. I read a statistic the other day that somewhere in the range of, I think it was 78% or so of companies that had a compromise last year experienced revenue loss as a result of that compromise. So it wasn't the cost of responding to the compromise, it was also the fact that they lost revenue during the time. So these are big deals. So just in terms of getting control of your cyber insurance, understanding how that works, who is going to be the primary forensics investigator that they hire, what team's going to come in. Oftentimes, when we're the team that's doing the threat monitoring and detection response, the insurance company gets called if there is any type of asset compromise, or if we get called in like with ALI, they will have another firm that helps along with that. It might be, maybe the firm that negotiates. We do that too, but they might have other firms that handle that. That's not uncommon. You just need to understand what that looks like, and you get a picture of how to engage when it happens. That doesn't mean somebody had malware on their system and it's a forest fire is when your insurance company comes in, not just a simple outbreak, a trash can fire, if you use that metaphor. My team's going to be happy that I've used metaphors. Anyway, that's the net of that is engage your brokers.
Yeah, I think one of the opening things for me is that there are two competing interests during the cyber attack when the insurance company is involved, and that's IT's return to operations for the company and the insurance company indemnifying themselves from future losses by understanding exactly how the attack happened in the first place. So if you don't have SIEM running, logging running, you're going to be at a dead stop until you can pull the logs off of every machine in the enterprise. And they may not let you put anything back on the network. You may have to go down to one computer to verify that there are no compromised machines. John said, they're going to bring in their own third-party team that's going to independently verify that everything is what you said it was, and they'll look at your firewalls and make sure that you don't have anything that indicates gross negligence. And if you do have gross negligence, you may not get paid at all. They may delay your return to operations by weeks under the threat of not paying the penalty. So at some point, you're going to have to make a decision. Do we work with the insurance company that we paid for this policy to indemnify us against the losses we're going to incur, or do we just put everything back the way it was on our own? That's a decision that you might not be able to make as an IT department on your own. You're going to have C-level buy-in. There's going to be greater conversations around the way these things work. But not having any kind of auditing, not having any kind of third-party support or cyber support before the attack is going to have an eye-opening experience during the attack. When you start asking yourself questions that you can't answer, like, is it more valuable to be returned to business because we lose so many thousands of dollars per hour, or do we let the insurance company keep us offline for 5 weeks while they decide how the attack happened?